Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. The wife of a female police officer is soft and cute, and she shoots and heads the robber. Yinan participated in the live broadcast of the full-time program and decided to experience his career through a lottery. My wife Mu Yao reported to the city bureau as a new police officer. On the first day, a professional fisherman was drawn and a corpse was caught. Wife, I need to report to the police. The next day, I drew a food critic and ate my fingers from the bun. Wife, I need to report to the police. On the third day, I drew a security guard from the funeral home and unexpectedly discovered that the criminals had destroyed their bodies. Wife, I need to report to the police. My wife Mu Yao receives calls from her husband every day to report to the police. As a highly skilled criminal investigator, she quickly solves the case. On the nth day, when I came to do household chores, I found a drug production center in the old community. For this reason, his wife Mu Yao constantly received commendations, third-class merit, second-class merit, first-class merit, honorary titles netizen. If you continue to participate in the program, your wife will be promoted to the provincial government. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. Wife is a police officer. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At around 7 o'clock in the morning, Yinan arrived at the program team. Before entering the recording site, Yinan took out his phone and made a phone call. Wife. Are you leaving? Yinan asked. Are you ready to go out? Are you in the program group? Said Mu Yao, the wife on the other end of the phone. I could hear Mu Yao's anxiety. She likes to sleep in every day. Well, I'm ready to go in and record. Yinan nodded. Today. It was Yinan who participated in the live broadcast of the full-time program. The full-time program team will randomly select guests from the applicants. By drawing lots, guests can experience various professions. Because it is impossible for guests to be familiar with every profession, there are often situations that make people laugh and cry. Most of the time, it also highlights the hardships of an industry and the difficulties of a profession. Through this, the program naturally arouses empathy among many practitioners. Half a year has passed, and the full-time program team has recorded one episode. Each issue lasts for 1 month. Each guest can experience 30 professions within 30 days. The popularity of the program is getting higher and higher. And in this episode, the guest is Yinan. As long as the 1-month recording of the program is successfully completed, Yinan can receive a reward of 100,000 yuan. If the program is effective, the production team will also issue separate bonuses. Yinan and Mu Yao, who are newlywed yener, need this money. And on the other side, Mu Yao is a police officer who is going to report to the Beichun branch of the municipal bureau today. After the two reported each other's safety, Yinan walked into the studio. Soon. 8 o'clock sharp, it's time. The program will start on time. Welcome to this episode of Full-Time. This program will present our guests' performances in various professional positions in the most authentic way through a full live broadcast. No editing or script throughout the entire process. Let's welcome the guests of this episode, Yinan, Mr. Yi. A segment of support for Bing Bing, who dressed appropriately and had a bright spring face, opened this episode of the program. Under the guidance of the guide, Yinan walked onto the stage. Many cameras in front of me were all facing Yinan. To be honest, I was a bit nervous. These cameras are all connected to the internet, corresponding to various live streaming platforms and social media platforms. Live streaming across all platforms. Although it's 8 o'clock in the morning. But the live broadcast rooms on various platforms are already overcrowded. The new episode of the program has started. It's great. It happens to be on the bookshelf. my dad and I will read it together. This guest is so handsome. I'll go. This episode of the program has a good eye. The more handsome you are, the less capable you are. However, having no ability is indeed a highlight, haha. Yeah, the guest from the previous episode was too ugly. I'll wipe it off, but the program is really good. This episode is perfect. I specifically took 3 days off, and the first 3 days were the most exciting for the new guests. Countless netizens are paying attention to Yi Nan on stage at this time. Yi Nan, could you give us a brief introduction to yourself? Bing Bing said on the side. My name is Yi Nan, 23 years old. I just got married last month, and I hope this program will go smoothly. Yi Nan briefly introduced. Oh. Newlywed Yenner, congratulations. Mr. Ye's lover is also watching our program. Bing Bing continued to ask. I don't think so. She's going to report to the bureau today. She's a new police officer, so we can't be vague, Yi Nan said. Wow, Mr. Ye's lover is still our great police comrade. And he is also a newly hired police officer today. That can be considered a kind of double happiness, right? It has to be said. As a little queen in the hosting industry. Bing Bing not only looks beautiful and has a pleasant voice, but also speaks quite well. And in the live broadcast room. When netizens learned about Yi Nan's wife, they immediately exploded. I'll go, is my wife a police officer? Bully, brother. I don't know if this brother can resist beating. Police wives should be very tough, right? Envy me, as a single dog, even if I watch a live broadcast, I have to be fed dog food. Damn it, it's unreasonable. At this point, Bing Bing glanced at the direction behind her. Then I explained the general rules once again. It's actually quite simple. Draw lots to determine the profession, and then the program team will arrange guests to the corresponding venue for the profession, and broadcast the entire process live. As for the effectiveness of the program, it all depends on the performance of the guests while working. Mr. Yi, are the rules clear now? If there is anything I don't understand, I can explain it again, Bing Bing asked. The rules are very simple, and I have watched the previous episode, which is very clear. Let's start. Yi Nan also looked forward to it. Bing Bing nodded. Next, I handed Yi Nan a palm-sized remote control with a red button on it. At the same time, the big screen behind the two also lit up. Above, various professions will randomly start scrolling rapidly. Yi Nan can press the button to pause scrolling. Mr. Yi, counting down 321, you can press the button at any time. Are you ready? Bing Bing asked. Yi Nan nodded and looked at the big screen. Next second, the big screen began to roll rapidly. Because the speed is too fast, it is impossible to see clearly what professions they are. I also cannot independently choose which profession to pause in. Everything. Let fate take its course. Bing Bing counted down 321 on the side, and in the last moment she finished shouting one. Pang. Yi Nan pressed the button. The rolling speed suddenly dropped and slowly stopped. At the final freeze, two big characters appeared. Phishing. Guarantee letter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 002. Isn't my wife a police officer? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Yi Nan saw his profession, he was clearly stunned. Ah, congratulations to our guest Mr. Yi for choosing the fishing profession, Bing Bing said with a smile. And the back-end staff. We have quickly started deploying the corresponding workplace for our profession. Is fishing also considered a profession? Yi Nan asked in confusion. Of course. Bing Bing nodded and said, there are 3 types of professional fishermen, all of which belong to the category of commercial fishing. Professional competitive fishermen, professional fishing coaches, and commercial fishing guides. Professional competitive fishermen can participate in important domestic fishing competitions, such as the National Fishing Championships. Of course, Yi Nan is not qualified to participate in those competitions. Just got caught fishing, so today, let's start with fishing. When you see a career freeze. The live broadcast room immediately became lively. Sleeping slot. I'm planning to go fishing and watch the live broadcast. The fisherman is ecstatic, Sure, it's worth it. It's very eye-catching. I don't know Yi Nan's level is like this. This is also a concern for Bing Bing. He immediately asked, does Mr. Yi usually fish? Yi Nan awkwardly shook his head and said, I have an idea to try, but I haven't caught it before, so I won't. No, that's right. Bing Bing's eyes lit up and she instinctively said. If you're a master, then you're not interested. He is a foolish young man who doesn't know how to do it, and the whole process will make countless little fish people laugh and cry. Isn't the effect of this program coming? The current variety shows are like this. Various celebrity guests will be asked to play various unfamiliar games to create program effects. If it's all experts, then there's nothing to look at. Yi Nan was taken aback. Well, what I mean is, it's not normal. After all, our program team has prepared many professions, and it's impossible for every guest to be familiar with each profession, Bing Bing quickly explained. That's true. Yi Nan knows his own thing and hasn't touched many professions. He is a freelance photographer and has a lot of time, which is why he signed up to participate in the program. But the previous episode's program. For 30 days, the profession of freelance photographer has never appeared. The energy of the program team is still very high. In just over a dozen minutes, the live show was ready. Yi Nan left the studio. Take a car with the staff to go. Bing Bing stayed in the studio, responsible for explaining the live broadcast process and livening up the atmosphere. Because many professions are often dull. If there is no host to liven up the atmosphere, the dull process will discourage many netizens. More than 10 minutes passed. Yi Nan arrived at the program site. It's not a fish farm, but a wild river. I'll go, isn't the production team too tough, wild fishing? This place looks a bit familiar, Heiha in the suburbs of Jiangcheng. It seems like it's really the Black River. Where did this damn place come from? Did the production team make a mistake? There are fish, I can testify, but they are relatively rare. A beginner came to the wild fishing, I'm wiping it, my heart is too big. The anglers on the barrage expressed their opinions one after another. Bing Bing explained, in recent years, the ecological development of Heiha River has been relatively good, and the development of wild fish species has been good. This time, we will see the situation on site through our guests. But Yi Nan's side was worried. He doesn't know how to fish. I haven't even touched a fishing rod. Fortunately, the program team is not so heartless, and it is also a rule of the program team. Before starting a new career, the program team will provide a general explanation and invite someone to teach, allowing guests to quickly enter the state with a level of proficiency in cooking. Otherwise, a profession that I completely don't understand, I haven't touched anything, I'm blind at both ends, and that program can't be broadcasted. After being explained by a professional fisherman, Yi Nan probably knows how to operate the fishing tackle. So, after finding a good spot by the river, Yi Nan began to swing the pole. That clumsy move made the netizens in the live broadcast room unable to laugh or cry. I believe it now, he really hasn't touched a fishing rod. Haha. I remember when I first started fishing 8 years ago. What hook does this wild river throw? It seems that the teaching level is not very good either. If I can catch fish, I'll turn my head off and kick it like a ball. Fishing in the wild, not in the nest, fishing for chicken feathers? There are certainly many doubts. Yinan didn't make much noise at first. He himself is anxious. This profession is boring without any interaction with colleagues. If you don't catch any fish again, what do netizens look at? Isn't this program losing its effectiveness? But at this moment. Cluck. Yinan, who was preparing to change the bait, realized that the fishing rod in his hand suddenly snapped and couldn't be pulled. Ha! Did you catch the fish? Yinan's eyes lit up and he stood up excitedly, following the previous teaching method and starting to pull the rod. Yinan doesn't care about fish or anything like that. Anyway, if you hit the fish, just pull it up, that's what he thinks. In the live broadcast room. The anglers looked silly. I wiped it, did I really hit it? This is just the beginning, are you so skilled? Are all the newcomers so brave? Or is the ecology of Heiha really so good? This technique is not right, it's strange. I'll go, big bow. This is guaranteed to weigh over 20 pounds. It might be even bigger. It's amazing. Because it's a program. Some of the staff behind Yinan naturally couldn't come up to help. Only Yinan could desperately pull himself up. The fishing enthusiasts in this live broadcast room are crying anxiously. Damn it, don't win or pull, technique, technique. This fish doesn't run away, is it just a tug of war? Isn't that right? Can't it be hanging at the bottom? It looks like it's hanging from the bottom, so I said, where did the fish come from? Hanging at the bottom is when the fishing hook or line gets stuck on rocks or aquatic plants. It's a damn situation that anglers really don't want to encounter. I just didn't expect it. In the end, I was really dragged up by Yinan. When the thing hanging on the fishing hook is pulled out of the water. Everyone is confused. That's not even a fish. But rather a female corpse bound with thick hemp rope and some stones sinking underwater. Moment all the members of the production team are numb. The live broadcast room also fell into a deathly silence. Report. Report, report. Bing Bing's tongue began to knot. I never expected to encounter such a situation. Sure enough. A fisherman can catch nothing but fish. Yinan suddenly regained his senses. Yes, call the police. But isn't my wife a police officer? Chapter 001. Wife is a police officer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 003. Is soft cute girl a female police officer? You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the taxi. Master, can you hurry up? I'm going to be late soon. Mu Yao hasn't arrived at the station yet. But he's already wearing a uniform. It's the uniform I wore during my internship at the district police station. The driver felt intimidated by Mu Yao's profession and could only helplessly say, Officer, there's nothing I can do. There's a traffic jam ahead, and I don't even have a chance to run a red light. I can't get through this at all. What should I do? Mu Yao is anxious. Being late on the first day of reporting will leave a bad impression on the leader. But at this moment, the phone is ringing. Mu Yao glanced and found that it was Yinan who came over. Husband, I'm almost here, but there's traffic jam on the road. If it's really not possible, I'll walk over there, Mu Yao said immediately. What's that? Don't worry, wife, I need to call the police, Yinan said directly. Call the police. What does that mean? Mu Yao asked in confusion. Didn't I participate in the live broadcast of the full-time program? The profession I got on the first day was fishing, said Yinan. Fishing is also considered a profession. Where do you know how to fish? Is there any problem? Mu Yao asked. First of all, listen to me. Of course I don't know how to fish. I learned it briefly and started, but just now. I caught a corpse, which was a female corpse. I and the crew didn't dare to move it, you. Ah. Mu Yao's eyes widened. What is it? Caught a corpse. Wait, I'll go over now. Mu Yao gritted her teeth. After taking a look at the time, I was late for running over anyway, so let's handle the case first. The most important thing is to quickly go and protect the scene. Mu Yao, a top student in the field of economic investigation, immediately identified the current situation. Master, turn around and go to Heiha. In this live broadcast room, netizens are gradually coming to their senses. Although the camera can already avoid the corpse. But the scene just now still cast a psychological shadow on many people. I'll wipe it, early in the morning. Don't scare me, is this really a prank? Be good, anglers are so terrifying. They can catch anything but fish. Seems like a female corpse. It's so scary. Yi Nan called his wife. Isn't her the new police officer she joined on her first day? On the first day of employment, my husband gave me a commendation, it's so comfortable. A case can only be called a merit if it is solved, but if it cannot be solved, it is called an unsolved case. The production team is also worried at this moment. The second phase has just begun. Why did you encounter such a situation? The backstage leaders began to discuss. At first, they think we should pause the program first and make a decision after this matter is resolved. But then they discovered. The program had an accident, but its popularity did not diminish at all. On the contrary, with the award-winning recorded videos being uploaded online, the heat continues to ferment. The program's popularity is skyrocketing in the live broadcast rooms of various platforms. Early in the morning, the number of viewers on the entire platform exceeded 5 million. The program continues. The leader immediately spoke. Although it was an accident, it was also a topic and hotspot. And at this time, the Beichen branch. Teamly, out of the 5 newcomers who came to report today, 4 have arrived. There is also a girl named Mu Yao who was assigned to our third team's investigation team, but she hasn't arrived yet. The instructor took out a list and said. Li Na took over and took a look. The eyebrows furrowed slightly. Dao said, the only girl among the newcomers. These newcomers are becoming more and more unruly. Forget it, just wait a little longer. If you can't, just call and ask. And at this moment, Mu Yao. I have rushed to Heiha. Seeing Yi Nan standing foolishly by the river, Mu Yao quickly leaned in. Husband, how are you? Are you okay? Mu Yao asked anxiously. She has a petite figure, a soft and weak voice, and a slightly baby-fat face that looks chubby. She is both beautiful and cute. If it weren't for the uniform on her body, it's hard to believe that this soft and cute girl is a female police officer. Yi Nan just regained his senses. He's fine. But the first time I saw a dead person, and it was because he caught me fishing. More or less a little heart shadow. I'm fine, Yi Nan shook his head. The body is over there, please take a look at the situation first. Oh, Mu Yao nodded. I just picked up my briefcase and walked towards the body. And the appearance of Mu Yao. It immediately diverted the attention of some netizens in the live broadcast room. I'll go, is this Yi Nan's wife? I thought she was very tough, but I didn't expect her to be a cute girl. It's so beautiful, I'll wipe it. I envy it. The girl is starting to investigate. As I said, on my wife's first day at work, my husband will directly give credit. This girl is cute, is she really a policewoman? She's not handsome at all, but I like her, By the river. Mu Yao first confirmed the scene and took photos. Afterwards, turn on the recorder throughout the entire process. Wearing white gloves, although a newcomer, I didn't gain much experience during my internship at the police station. But as a top student majoring in criminal investigation, Mu Yao quickly entered a state of mind. There is no fear or discomfort towards the corpse. A few minutes later, Yi Nan and a few staff members approached and asked, "Wife, how are you?" Mu Yao slowly exhaled a breath. "Dao. We have preliminarily saved the on-site photos." Continuing to look at the production team, he said, "Everyone, please don't get close to the scene. I will notify the Municipal Bureau to take over." Chapter 002. Isn't my wife a police officer? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 004. 20-minute case solving. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The guide stood up at this moment. "Ask, officer, then our program." "Let's continue recording," Mu Yao smiled and said. The sweet girl's smile made the director's heart tremble slightly. Quickly nodded and said, "Okay, keep going, keep going." "But how can this continue? The body is lying by the river. Can't Yi Nan continue fishing nearby?" However, so far, the live broadcast popularity of the program has remained high, and it has nothing to do with whether Yi Nan is fishing or not. Yi Nan's and Mu Yao walked to the side, and Mu Yao called the city bureau. The phone was answered by Li Na. When assigned to the sub-bureau, Mu Yao received the phone number of Li Team. "Team Li, my name is Mu Yao and I am the new police officer who is reporting today," Mu Yao said to the phone. Li Na on the other end of the phone looked at the information on the table. "I looked at the time again." "I know, don't you look at the time. What time is it? You don't have any sense of time. What are you doing on the phone? I guess you're taking a leave. Are you having a stomachache or are you coming to see your aunt? I understand you all so well. You just came out of the police academy, your internships were all in a mess, and you still feel like you." "Li, no, I received a call from my husband on the way. He called the police and caught a corpse while fishing in the Heihe River. In order to protect the scene, I came to the scene for investigation and took photos of the scene as soon as possible," Mu Yao said in detail. In an instant, Li Na didn't calm down. "This year, there are not many homicide cases. The discovery of a body in the Heihe River is a big deal. And, according to Mu Yao's account of the condition of the body at the first scene, it is obvious that this is highly likely to be a murder. Stabilize the on-site personnel, I'll bring someone over immediately," Li Na said straightforwardly. Subsequently, he rushed out of the office and shouted, "Criminal Investigation Brigade 3rd Squad, go to the police." On site, Mu Yao and Yi Nan stood on the side. Mu Yao's watery big eyes occasionally looked towards the crowd around her. "Wife, what are you looking at?" Yi Nan asked. "Just now, on the body of the corpse, I came across a photo. Apart from that, there was nothing else." The photo was a group photo, with a man and a woman on it, and the woman was the deceased, Mu Yao said. "Oh." Mu Yao lowered her voice and continued, "Although I am not a forensic doctor, Qian is. I have learned a little from her, and by observing the condition of the body, the time of death will not exceed 10 hours, which is the homicide that occurred last night. The killer of the murder that occurred the day before will definitely pay close attention to the surrounding situation and news the next day. The popularity of this program is very high, and the killer may have already seen the body caught by someone. He is also highly likely to come to the scene to inspect the situation and clean up some existing or non-existent traces and clues that he did not clean up last night when it was dark. Of course, these are just speculations. But Mu Yao's meticulous thinking and clear logic are already very rare. And what she was considering actually happened. After Mu Yao finished speaking, within a few minutes, the people from the city bureau had not yet arrived. Mu Yao's gaze suddenly froze on a young man wearing a duckbill cap in the crowd. Although he hid behind the crowd, wearing a duckbill cap. Mu Yao recognized him in an instant with her sharp eyes. He was the youth in the photo. So. Without hesitation, Mu Yao walked towards the crowd. The young man with a duckbill cap was momentarily taken aback and looked at Mu Yao. In the moment when his eyes met, the young man's face changed slightly, and without hesitation, he turned around and ran away. But he squeezed in to see the situation and wanted to run away immediately, which was not so easy. Mu Yao accelerated her speed and her petite body was exceptionally agile, rushing directly into the crowd. That young man still wants to resist. He was pressed on the ground by Mu Yao 3 times, 5 times, and 2 times. What are you doing? Let go of me, you let go of me. The young man shouted. Mu Yan held on to him without letting go. Dao. What is the relationship between the deceased and you? No. It's okay. I don't know her, I didn't kill her, it's nothing to do with me, the victim shouted. But one could hear his panic, and his voice was trembling. The psychological quality is also too poor. Did you kill it? I'll soon find out. There are some skin tissues in the nail crevices of the deceased, which were wrapped in plastic cloth before being wrapped with hemp rope. The tissues in the nail crevices are well preserved. When the time comes, you can test your DNA to find out. Mu Yao said casually. But I didn't expect it. Hear this. The young man's face changed greatly and he shouted in panic, No, I didn't kill her. I just threw a few stones at her. She didn't listen. She wanted to break up with me, The young man's speech was incoherent, but he had already heard a rough idea. Ah! Mu Yao was dumbfounded. What the hell is this? In a few words, that's all I have to explain. The case was declared resolved without even the people from the city bureau coming. And the surrounding onlookers, staff of the program team, and netizens in the live broadcast room were all killed. My husband discovered the body. My wife rushed to the scene. 20 minutes, the killer was caught. What kind of immortal couple are you? And at this moment, Li Na, along with 3 team members, drove 2 police cars to the scene. Seeing Mu Yao in uniform, she immediately walked over. Mu Yao. Li Na asked. Li team, it's me, Mu Yao nodded. Li Na was somewhat surprised. I haven't seen such a beautiful girl in the bureau for a long time. She's cute, but her image is a bit different from that of the police force. Where is the body? We must protect the scene. The forensic and technical staff are on their way. The body is over there, I have caught the culprit, Mu Yao said. Then stagger your body. Behind him was a young man who was being handcuffed by Mu Yao and squatting on the ground. At this moment, Li Na is all foolish. Chapter 003. Is soft cute girl a female police officer? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 005. Are soft and cute female police officers wonders? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The killer. Is this the killer? Li Na was completely confused. A homicide has occurred. And it's a sinking case. Such cases are usually quite tricky because when the body is submerged in water, many traces and evidence will be washed away. She hurriedly brought someone over. Result. Did you catch all the killers? What the hell? Fortunately, Li Na also brought along the elite members of the team, and everyone was prepared to fight and investigate the case. Mu Yao roughly explained the process of the incident. Because her voice is naturally soft and cute, but what she says is indeed about killing and throwing corpses. Li Na always feels strange listening to it. Let's take the person back first. The forensic and technical departments will collect evidence from the body, and then they will also take it back, Li Na instructed. Although Mu Yao said she had caught the culprit, she has not yet gone through the interrogation record and needs to go through the process to confirm. And in the live broadcast room, netizens collectively looked dumbfounded. Did you see the expression on the female captain's face? Haha. It's so exciting. Damn it, I didn't expect the show to have such an effect. No problem, Yi Nan's credit to his wife has basically been confirmed, right? TSK. I didn't expect it. I didn't watch the program last time, and I planned to watch it from scratch, but I didn't expect it to be so exciting. Afterwards, Mu Yao returned to the bureau and completed the registration procedures. So far, Mu Yao truly became a member of the municipal bureau. Half an hour later, Mu Yao received a notice and went to the inquiry room. This is the inquiry room, not the interrogation room. It is the place where the upper authorities are responsible for recording the case handling process, transferring it to the subsequent procuratorate, and preparing for the court to initiate public prosecution. Mu Yao walked in nervously. The first and second leaders of the municipal bureau, the captain of the criminal investigation detachment, and the captain of the battalion are all present. Seeing Mu Yao walk in, the leader turned his head in surprise and glanced at Li Na. Are you sure this is the newcomer? This cute and adorable appearance, even wearing a uniform, can smell milk, can it investigate? Li Na had the same idea at the beginning, so she understood the leader very well and shrugged her shoulders. Hello everyone, my name is Mu Yao and my police number is a newly hired police officer, Mu Yao said. Well, Mu Yao, don't be nervous. We just keep a record of the case handling process as usual, and there are some questions I need to ask you. The head of the group, Jiang Zhenbei, tried to tone down as gently as possible. Mu Yao nodded. Ask, is it the culprit, right? Jiang Zhenbei immediately shook his head. Dao said, no, absolutely right. That kid has already taken action. Last night, due to a breakup, he lost control of his emotions and attacked the victim, accidentally killing him. Later, he sank into Heihe due to fear. It can be said that the case has been closed directly. Mu Yao is catching people, that's right. Just a few questions. How did you determine that he was the murderer at that time? Jiang Zhenbei asked. I found a photo on the deceased, and the young man in the photo is him, said Mu Yao. How can you be certain that the killer will go to the scene? Jiang Zhenbei continued to ask. Mu Yao thought for a moment. Speaking of, the left side of the corpse's head was hit by a blunt object, which belongs to homicide. This is also the cause of death, because Heihe River is rich in water and grass. If it is drowned, there may be foreign bodies in the hands and mushroom-like foam in the mouth and nose. The specific cause of death still requires subsequent diatom testing and dissection. To determine whether there is drowning fluid, foam and foreign bodies in the respiratory tract, and whether there is anhydrous emphysema in the lungs. Based on my preliminary judgment, the deceased belonged to homicide. After death, the body sank and was tied with hemp rope, but there were no signs of struggle on the skin. I visually measured the weight of the female corpse to be around 140. The soil by the Black River was soft, but there were no signs of transportation, so the scene of the first murder was not too far away. There is a nearby village in the vicinity of the scene, which is only about 500 meters away. Someone at the scene recognized the deceased as a member of that village. I didn't bring out the photo in advance, I'm worried about startling the snake with grass, but if the culprit is from the same village, it's highly likely that I can see my husband's live broadcast of the program. I'm not sure if the killer will go, it's just a guess, but if he does come, I'll catch him. Upon hearing this, several leaders were all dumbfounded. A cute newcomer girl, with such meticulous thinking and clear logic, do you call her a newcomer? Even Li Na, who had been to the scene, didn't notice so many clues in the first place. And Mu Yao is right. That girl is indeed from that village. The murderer, that young man, is indeed from the same village. The first crime scene is indeed not far from the river, only over 200 meters away, on the roadside. The youth dragged a woman to the river after killing her. What Mu Yao said, hit it all. We have seen the law enforcement recorder and you said there was skin tissue in the victim's nails, but the forensic team did not find it. When I was pressing down on the killer, I saw several nail scratches on his wrist, which were not deep enough to leave any skin tissue. In addition, the body had been submerged in water. I just saw that his psychological resilience was poor, and I tricked him. I didn't expect him to admit it directly, Mu Yao said directly. Upon hearing this, several leaders nodded in admiration. Fu. Capital clothes. Li Na sat on the side, her eyes full of brilliance, talent. And this person was assigned to Li Na's team. Alright, Mu Yao, you go first. The police will announce the result of the case and give the public an explanation, Jiang Zhenbei nodded and said. Chapter 004. 20-minute case solving. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.